All right, let's talk about the invisible forces that are constantly shaping our daily conversations. Today, we're diving deep into the two sides of that coin: the dark art of psychological manipulation and its incredibly powerful counterpart, empathy. You know that feeling, right? You walk away from an argument and you're left with this really unsettling sense of doubt. You start wondering, did that actually happen? Am I just overreacting here? If that sounds even vaguely familiar, well, you've probably been on the receiving end of the very techniques we're about to break down. So first up, let's unpack what manipulation really is. See, it isn't always some big, dramatic, obvious thing. Most of the time, it's actually a super subtle, hidden influence that preys on our most basic human psychology. What it all boils down to is control. Researchers like Robert Cialdini have shown this time and time again. Manipulators don't use brute force. Instead, they cleverly exploit our natural desire for approval, our fear of conflict, and our deep-seated need to belong. It's a game that's played in the shadows of our own minds. Okay, let's start with one of the most insidious tactics out there: gaslighting. Fun fact, the term actually comes from a 1938 play. In it, a husband tries to convince his wife she's going insane by secretly dimming their gas-powered lights and then completely denying it's happening. It's a deliberate, calculated attempt to make someone question their own perception of reality. And what's so sneaky about it is just how simple and common these phrases are. By consistently denying your experiences, a manipulator slowly, piece by piece, erodes your confidence. The goal? It's to rewrite your reality until you start to doubt yourself more than you doubt them. And the long-term damage here is no joke. It can lead to a total loss of self-confidence, chronic anxiety, and eventually this deep, unhealthy dependence on the manipulator for your own sense of what's real. It goes right back to that initial question we asked about doubting your own memory. Next up, we have an absolute classic: the guilt trip. I mean, we've all seen this one, right? Guilt is a really powerful social emotion. It helps us regulate our behavior, but manipulators, they know this and they twist it into a weapon to get exactly what they want. Oh, this phrase. It is perfectly designed to create a massive internal conflict. You might not want to do what they're asking, but the fear of looking ungrateful or selfish can be just overwhelming. Suddenly, your decision isn't based on your own wants or needs anymore, but on this sense of manufactured obligation. Okay, but it's not all doom and gloom. I promise. There is an incredibly powerful counterforce to manipulation, and it's something every single one of us has: empathy. But we're not just talking about it as some vague feeling. We're going to treat it as a practical, usable skill, a superpower, really. Psychologists like Daniel Goleman have shown that empathy is literally the cornerstone of emotional intelligence. And it's not about just being nice, it's about being perceptive. For instance, if you notice a coworker is super stressed, that's empathy. Deciding to deliver some tough feedback more gently because of that observation, that choice is emotional intelligence in action. Now, what's really important to get is that empathy is multi-layered. It's not just one thing. Emotional empathy is when you feel someone's sadness along with them. Cognitive empathy is when you understand why they're sad, even if you don't feel it yourself. And then compassionate empathy is the one that actually moves you to act, to help. Understanding these differences is absolutely key. And the benefits of flexing that empathy muscle, they're clear and they're practical. We're talking stronger bonds with your family and friends, way fewer misunderstandings at work, and just a greater overall ability to navigate the seriously complex social world we all live in. So, how do we turn all this understanding into an actual defense? This is where it gets really good. This is where we connect empathy directly back to that problem of manipulation and learn how to use it as a kind of psychological shield. Okay, check this out. Here's the strategy in action. You use your cognitive empathy to acknowledge the other person's feelings. You're not dismissing them, you're saying, I hear you. But then you immediately follow it with a firm boundary. See? You can understand their disappointment without giving in to their demand. That is the crucial difference between understanding and agreeing. But, and this is a really, really critical warning here, unchecked empathy can actually be a weakness. If you're only feeling what others feel without holding on to your own perspective, you can get hit with emotional burnout. And you can actually become more vulnerable to manipulators who just love to prey on your good nature. So, this brings us to the final and honestly the most important idea of all. The ultimate defense against all of this isn't some clever tactic, it's a conscious choice and it's fueled by awareness. Just remember, we fall for manipulation not because we're dumb or weak, but because we're human. These tactics are literally designed to bypass our logic and plug directly into our fundamental psychological wiring. Manipulators are exploiting our deepest seated needs, our desire for social approval, our need to be consistent, our instinct to belong to the group, and of course, our natural aversion to conflict. Just recognizing these triggers in yourself is the first huge step toward disarming them. So ultimately, the key takeaway is this. Empathy isn't a passive emotion that just happens to you. It's an active skill. It's a tool you can actually sharpen to better understand the world around you, all while protecting your own well-being by setting clear, healthy boundaries. And that leaves us with one final big question to think about. In our quest to be empathetic people, how do we know where to draw the line? Where's that fuzzy boundary between compassionately understanding someone's behavior and unintentionally enabling their destructive patterns? That's something worth chewing on.